The best Hong Kong attractions. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel Mayong Vlogs. So today I am going to show the top Hong Kong tourist attractions. Hong Kong is packed with many wonderful attractions, so it's easy for visitors to the city to feel overwhelmed. Luckily for you, if you're thinking about what to do in Hong Kong, our ultimate guide to our city's top attractions will help you make the most of your trip, from hiking up Victoria Peak to admire Hong Kong's breathtaking sceneries, to exploring the city's best museums and historical landmarks, to some of the best free things to do. Here's our one-stop guide for any traveling tourist, or locals looking for more reasons to fall in love with Hong Kong all over again. And if all this isn't enough, take a look at our list of the best things to do in Hong Kong, where you can discover even more things our great city has to offer. Hong Kong Science Museum. Top 10 museums in Hong Kong. Museums. Our pick of the best museums in Hong Kong and the exhibitions they have on offer. The Peak. Things to do. As you might guess from the name, the Peak is the high point on Hong Island. And as you'd probably surmise, it offers the best views of the city, stretching from the skyscrapers and towers of the city centre, the mountains in the New Territories, to the mountains in the New Territories. It's accessible by the Peak Tram, which passes the city's buildings at a dizzying incline as it travels up to 1,300 feet above sea level. To get the best possible views at the top, we suggest you head to the viewing platforms at the anvil-shaped Peak Tower. Or if you fancy a hike, take a round around the 3.5 kilometers Peak Circle Walk, where you'll get an astonishing bird's-eye view of the metropolis below. The Big Buddha. Tien Tan Buddha attractions. Lantau Island. Tien Tan Buddha, or as it's better known, the Big Buddha, is Hong Kong's most recognizable and iconic landmark. It was 12 years in the making, 34 meters high, and accessible to visitors by a grueling 268-step route up to its seat. Needless to say, be prepared for aching legs by the time you're at the top. Just beside the Buddha is Po Lin Monastery, a wondrous, incense-filled sanctum that ranks among Buddhism's most important institutions. And if that slog gives you an appetite, head to the neighboring Nagong Ping village for a traditional Buddhist vegetarian meal. Lan Kwai Fong. Things to do. Lan Kwai Fong. Lan Kwai Fong, or LKF for short, is Party Central. Basically, it's where you need to be on a Friday and Saturday night if you're in search of fun. You'll find over 90 restaurants and bars packed into the district, from upscale spots like Dragon Eye for the global glitterati, to pubs like Hong Kong Brewery that are a bit more rough and ready. Get ready to party hard with tourists, expats and locals alike in the city's hedonism HQ. Man Mo Temple. Things to do. Shengwan Ma Mo Temple. Things to do. Shengwan Man Mo Temple is a mid-19th century, Grade 1 listed historical building and declared national monument on Hollywood Road. It's surrounded by antique stores that are common in the area. The temple is mostly dedicated to Manchung, the god of literature, and Mo Tai, the god of war, a pair of deities often worshipped by students about to take Imperial China's civil service exams. With its clouds of intense and introspective calm, it makes for a haven from all the downtown hubbub outside. Avenue of Stars attractions. Sim Sha Tsui. There was a time when Hong Kong's filmic output was only bested by Hollywood and Bollywood, and while it's a less prodigious beast these days, the city's film industry still once produced illustrious names like Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan, Jet Li, the Shaw brothers, John Woo and Wong Kar-wai. Avenue of Stars pays tribute to these figures and many others who have helped burnish Hong Kong's cinematic legacy. Selfie opportunities. Come with sculptures of these actors and actresses along the waterfront, plus you can check out their handprints on all the plaques. Even Hong Kong's beloved local cartoon character McDull has a prime spot in front of the Victoria Harbour skyline. Plus, there's themed exhibitions where you can learn more about the Hong Kong film industry's history and more detail. Temple Street Night Market. Shopping Jordan. Shopping Jordan. It's a sad fact that night markets are relatively rare in Hong Kong, certainly when compared to Bangkok or Taiwan. This is why Temple Street is such a popular spot. Once the sun goes down, it's then that the numerous stalls pop up, the wares appear, and the tourists flock to purchase those "I love HK" t-shirts, knockoff watches and the rest. The locals, by contrast, tend to come to consult the fortune tellers. Ocean Park. Hong Kong things to do. Wong Chuk Hang. Sorry, Disneyland. Hong Kong's original theme park is also its most beloved. You'll find Ocean Park on the south side of Hong Kong Island. Make sure you take a peek at the two resident giant pandas, Ying Ying and Lila, then catch a lift on the cable car over the cliff, and onto the hair-raising roller coasters, other attractions and an array of marine animals and exotic birds. Oh, and if you're in Hong Kong during Halloween, Ocean Park is also incredibly popular for its month-long, and genuinely rather spooky Halloween attractions. Happy Valley Racecourse things to do. Happy Valley horse racing is incredibly popular in Hong Kong, chiefly because it's the only sport that its inhabitants legally bet upon. If you head to the Happy Valley Racecourse each Wednesday during race season, usually July to September, that's when you'll encounter the most trackside fun. A real party vibe takes up, so do be sure to get involved. Have an ice-cold beer and have a flutter on your nag of choice Star Ferry attractions, ships and boats. Sim Sha Sui. A less than 5-minute journey from shore to shore, the Star Ferry is the swiftest and cheapest way to travel between Sim Sha Sui and Central or Wan Chai. Despite its short length, the journey still feels leisurely, helped in no small part by the cooling breeze. And you'll also get some truly spectacular views of Hong Kong's skyline. Essential front row seats to Victoria Harbour. Cameras at the ready, people. City vistas don't get much better than this. Where to get healthy drinks and tonics in Hong Kong. Things you need to know about Hong Kong's social distancing restrictions. The 50 absolute best bars in Hong Kong. Where to watch the US presidential election in Hong Kong. Sky 100 observation deck attractions. Sim Sha Sui. If the Peak offers the best panoramic views of Hong Kong, then Sky 100 at the International Commerce Center (CCS) come a close second. The clue's all in the name. Onirially, an indoor observation deck sits on the 100th floor of the ICC skyscraper. Don't worry, you won't have to climb stairs all the way to Tihi Top. From their 360-degree views of the entire Hong Kong territory abound. Day or night, clear skies or glittering lights, you'll be met with jaw-dropping vistas. If all of that sightseeing works up, if all of that athirst, then head up to floor 118, where you'll discover the spectacularly chic and totally illuminated Ozone, owned by the Ritz-Carlton. It's a magical rooftop bar where innovative cocktails are joined by delectable Asian tapas. Our pick? The HK Skyline. It is Ozone's signature cocktail, after all. Sim Sha Sui Clock Tower attractions. This historic clock tower, which was constructed in 1915 as part of the now sadly demolished Kowloon Canton Railway terminus, is one of the most well-known building in Sim Sha Sui. This 44-meter-high red brick and granite tower is a declared monument, and is a relic from the days of British rule. Also in Victoria Harbour in the background, it's a pretty damn good photo opportunity too. Hong Kong Observation Wheel Attractions Central. It might not compare to the London Eye, but all the same the Hong Kong Observation Wheel still affords stunning views of Victoria Harbour and Central. Each of the gondolas on this 60-meter-high Ferris wheel has high-speed Wi-Fi. You know what this means when it comes to sending those top Insta pics out to your friends ASAP. Plus it's air-conditioned in the summer and heated during winter. The whole circuit takes around half an hour, providing ample opportunity to snap your shots of the city, whether during the day or at night. Combine with the Star Ferry and Sim Sha Sui Clock Tower for a convenient triple-header. Hong Kong Court of Final Appeal Attractions Central. Surrounded by the skyscrapers and glass high-rises of Central is the older Court of Final Appeal, a neoclassical building that was opened in 1912 under British rule as the Supreme Court. Then, in 1985 it was converted into the Hong Kong Legislative Council. before reverting back to its original purpose as the Court Final of Appeal in 2015. One of a scant number of surviving historical edifices in Central, the building has a statue of blindfolded Justitia, the Roman goddess of justice, above its main entrance. Top Hong Kong attractions: Historic 10,000 Buddha's Monastery. Attractions: historic buildings and sites. Sha Tin. There are 431 leading up to 10,000 Buddha's Monastery. They're lined with life-sized gilded Buddha statues, each entirely distinct from the next. At the top, at the complex itself, also known as Man Fat Si, another 12,000 golden statues will greet you, as well as pavilions and a pagoda and the panorama of Sha Tin and its mountainous surrounds. In a nutshell, it's all very, very scenic and Insta-worthy. See also 10 Buddhas in to look out for at the 10,000 Buddha's Monastery. Nan Lian Garden. Things to do. Wong Tai Sin. This public park is so leafy and tranquil it looks like an illustration from the page of a Tang Dynasty artwork. As you make your way around Sanair Waters and Rocks, you'll head towards Ziwu Bridge, an unmissable red color, and the gorgeous, gold pavilion of absolute perfection. Not far away from the garden is Kai Lin Nunnery, and vegetarian restaurants worthy of a visit, if you find yourself peckish. St. John's Cathedral. Attractions. Central. This cathedral is the oldest Anglican church in Hong Kong. It sits on Government Hill, and overlooks the financial district. Constructed in an English Gothic architectural style in the shape of the cross, it houses the seat of the Archbishop of Hong Kong. St. John's Cathedral has quite an unusual history. It was briefly turned into a club during the Japanese occupation of WW2, and many of its stained glass windows were removed. If you're in Hong Kong at Christmas, the midnight service is highly popular. Queue up from 9 p.m. to be sure of a seat. Tai O Fishing Village. Attractions. Tai O. Tai O is one of the very last traditional fishing village in Hong Kong. It's home to the Tonka people, who have built their homes on stilts in the waters just off Lantau Island. They make a living by selling things like dried seafood and traditional Chinese snacks to tourists at their markets, as well as running boat tours through the narrow waterways of the village. The University of Hong Kong. Things to do. Pak Fu Lam. The University of Hong Kong, or HKU as students and locals call it, was founded in 1911, which makes it the city's oldest university. It's also of very high regard across the entire world. Located on a hillside in Pak Fo Lam, it's mostly made up of colonial-style building, and much like Oxbridge colleges are very popular photo spots for newlyweds and tourists. The campus includes the University Museum and Art Gallery, which houses Chinese artifacts and contemporary art, which also happens to be the oldest museum in Hong Kong. TSC Shan Monastery. Things to do. This monastery houses the world's largest bronze statue of Guan Yin, the goddess of, also known as Kun Yum in Cantonese. It's quite the sight, 76 meters tall, and twice the size of Big Buddha on Lantau Island. The 500,000 square foot TSC Shan Monastery took 12 years to fully complete, and is designed in a style that echoes that of Tang Dynasty. In the Buddhist compound, there are several grand halls, a Bodhi tree, sweeping gardens, and what's called a brilliance pond. But do bear in mind there's a strict limit on how many visitors can come here each day. Booking online in advance is essential. Victoria Park. Attractions in Causeway Bay. Right in the middle of the chaotic urban sprawl of Hong Kong is this tranquil green have. Victoria Park is a veritable oasis where you can play bowls or tennis, go swimming in the lake, or just relax after a shopping spree at one of the numerous malls in Causeway Bay. Early risers should go along to see senior citizens doing Tai Chi in shaded corners. After dark, by contrast, the park transforms into a buzzing night market during Chinese New Year and gets decorated with glowing lanterns for Mid-Autumn Festival. Wong Tai Sin Temple. Things to do. Wong Tai Sin Temple provides a home for three religions: Taoism, Buddhism and Confucianism. It's the go-to site of worship for major events in the calendar like Buddha's birthdays and as a popular visitor's spot due to its exquisitely decorated buildings. The historic temple is also known for its supposedly accurate fortune-telling via Ka-u-sim, where worshippers shake a bamboo cylinder containing various fortune sticks until one falls out. Sun Yat-sen Museum Science and Technology Mid-Levels. Dr. Sun Yat-sen devoted his entire life to abolishing China's imperial system and establishing a more democratic Republic of China. The statesman had close ties with Hong Kong, having received his education and devised his plans here. The museum, which has a $10 entry fee, details his life and Hong Kong's role in the creation of Modern Democratic China Tai Kung Center for Heritage and Art Central. Tai Kung is a massive independent art space in the heart of Central, and one of our city's biggest creative hubs. The former Central Police compound opened its doors to the public in June 2018 and now consists of 16 heritage buildings, 2 open spaces, a 200-seat auditorium, 2 new buildings which houses art galleries, as well as various bars and restaurants. The heritage site/art space hosts about 6 to 8 curated art exhibitions annually, as well as daily interactive tours exploring the heritage of the space. Tai Kung also regularly hosts many immersive programs, including performances and workshops, providing an opportunity for Hong Kongers and visitors alike to reimagine this once closed-off part of town. Kevin Mok. The Mills Art Galleries Chunwan. Originally a cotton mill, this 1960s Chunwan factory building has taken on new lease of life. The 264,000 square feet space has transformed into a home for the fashion and textile industry while creating a financially sustainable social ecosystem. The mills consist of 3 major spaces. First is Mills Fabrica, a gallery and shopping area focused on the business of fashion, aiming to help young creators and small startups kickstart their future. There's also the Heritage Conservation Project, known as CHAT. The final component, Shop Floor, is a space showcasing the work of artists, designers and local talents and giving shoppers the opportunity to interact with the creators behind the pieces. Top Hong Kong attractions, art and culture. Fringe Club Attractions Central. The Fringe Club is a well-known hub for independent art performances, stand-up gigs, exhibitions and other quirky, offbeat events. It offers an open platform. Anyone with the creative nous can put on a show here. Built in 1892 in a former cold storage factory, the famed red and white brick building is now one of the most vibrant art spaces in Hong Kong. The Fringe Club has presented nearly 30 festivals, thousands of art shows and over 8,000 stage performances. Located beside Lan Kwai Fong, the rooftop garden bar is an excellent escape from all the hustle and bustle, and the perfect spot to enjoy some nibbles and a drink or two. Broadway Cinematheque Cinemas Yau Ma Tei. Hong Kong's only art house cinema, Broadway Cinematheque is where you should head if you want to catch some international cinema. It hosts a diverse range of festivals each year, among them the Asian Film Festival, Lesbian and Gay Film Festival and the Korean Film Festival. Broadway Cinematheque also offers retrospective programs delving into the oeuvres of legendary filmmakers like François Truffaut, Yamada Yoji and Krzysztof Kieślowski. The neighboring Kubrick Cafe and Bookstore is a great spot to grab a drink or a new novel, English and Chinese titles available, if you arrive early. Before showing, if all that isn't enough to tempt you to the area, just 5 minutes walk away is the famous Temple Street Night Market. Hong Kong Cultural Center attractions. Sim Sha Sui. One of the big hitters when it comes to Hong Kong's cultural scene, the center and its adjacent historic clock tower are tourist favorites for snapping photos of Victoria Harbour. Built in 1989, the curved and concave-shaped building boasts a program that's jam-packed with international touring theater shows, world-class concerts, opera and performances. The acoustics in the concert hall are often praised for elevating any musical performances thanks to its wooden panels and ceiling. The trademark beige bricks of the cultural center also make a popular background for wedding photoshoots. M+ Pavilion Art West Kowloon. In the run-up to the eventual grand opening of M+ in 2019, which is set to be Hong Kong's pioneering contemporary art museum, M+ Pavilion opened in 2016 to serve as a stopgap inside the sleek, reflective architecture are a host of themed exhibitions, plus independent shows put on by local creatives. The showcases provide a curious insight into what to expect at what should hopefully turn out to be one of the top art institutions in Asia. PMQ Attractions Shengwan. The transformation of the former police married quarters into a center for all things creative and design-based is one of the largest, most ambitious conservation projects in Hong Kong's recent history. Over 100 creative enterprises can be found at PMQ, where former residential units have been converted into boutiques and design studios selling handmade products like jewelry and homeware. Pop-up stores from international designers are also plentiful at PMQ, and the regular night markets are particularly popular among design enthusiasts. Hong Kong Visual Arts Center Art Admiralty. The Hong Kong Visual Arts Center is an open art space that focuses on art education and exchange. Located in Hong Kong Park in Central, the venue has been revamped from a century-old historic building, which formerly served as married quarters for British Army officers, into a modern hub of creativity. The center houses a number of studios, accommodating a wide array of disciplines, from ceramics to printmaking, and offers a range of art training programs to the public while also providing space for artists to experiment and create. Hong Kong Museum of Art Museums Sim Sha Sui. The Hong Kong Museum of Art was established in 1962 as part of City Hall, and now is home to over 16,000 works in its pink-tiled, multipurpose space. It not only boasts one of the largest local art collections in the city, but is also packed with paintings, calligraphic works and antiques from the Chinese mainland. The museum also regularly hosts and presents theme shows that attract reputable names from overseas, whilst also promoting local artists. Once you're done here, head to the Hong Kong Space Museum for an adventure that's worlds away. Currently closed for refurbishment until 2019. Photograph, courtesy West Kowloon Cultural District Sikh Center Theatre Sim Sha Sui. A premier performing arts venue dedicated to promoting and celebrating the art form and rich heritage of Sikh, or Chinese opera. Located in West Kowloon Cultural District. The Opera House is made up of a grand theatre, a more intimate theatre, 8 professional studios, a seminar hall and an atrium to host smaller events. The building design itself is a marvel on its own, inspired by traditional Chinese lanterns where the main entrance is shaped to resemble parted stage curtains. Top Hong Kong attractions, family-friendly. Kadoorie Farm and Botanic Garden. Things to do. Tai Po. Kadoorie Farm and Botanic Garden spreads over 148 hectares of land on the northern slopes of Tai Mo Shan, Hong Kong's highest mountain. The farm was originally established to aid poor farmers in the new territories but has since metamorphosed into a nature conservation center. Wander around the vegetable gardens and greenhouses, and learn about fascinating organic growth methods. It's perfect for those trying to transition into a more sustainable living at home. Visit exotics animals like flamingos, deer and, if you're lucky, the occasional porcupines and pangolins in the area surrounding the farm. Mickey Mouse at Hong Kong Disneyland. Hong Kong Disneyland Kids Lantau Island. The very first Disneyland to open in China is located on Lantau Island. The park consists of 7 themed areas, which include Main Street USA, Fantasyland and Toy Story Land. It all varies from fun amusement rides to electrifying parades, and you're likely to see all your favorite Disneyland characters here. It all makes for the perfect day out for families, and make sure you stay for the dazzling fireworks. Hong Kong Science Museum. Museum Science and Technology Sim Sha Sui East. Not only does this fabulous museum have a range of stunning permanent exhibits, but it also plays host to daily interactive science demos like molecular gastronomy and robotics. Highlights here include the World of Mirrors, a food science area, the 22-meter high energy machine that produces some pretty astonishing audiovisual effects as it demonstrates various types of energy. All terrific fun. Hong Kong Space Museum Science and Technology Sim Sha Tsui. You certainly won't miss this enormous egg-shaped dome on the Sim Sha Tsui waterfront. The theater dome accounts for half of the Hong Kong Space Museum, along with the Hall of Space Science and the Hall of Astronomy. Visitors can watch documentary screenings under the curved ceiling of the planetarium. And if you head over to the main museum, you'll discover plenty of action and gadgetry for space and science enthusiasts. Exhibitions halls are currently closed for renovation until the end of 2017. Hong Kong Wetland Park. Things to do. Yuen Long. This 61-hectare wetland reserve and ecotourism park is home to a diverse range of wetland plants and animals, from mangroves to rare species of birds. Promoting the importance of wildlife and nature conservation, the wetland park is great for birdwatchers who are keen to spot migrations, and for families to enjoy a fun, informative day out. Madame Tussauds Hong Kong Attractions, Arcades and Amusements. The Peak. The biggest celebrities and famous personalities are forever immortalized in wax at Asia's first Madame Tussauds. More than 100 wax figures are featured at the museum, a third of which are renowned Asian superstars like Hong Kong's very own Andy Lau and Jackie Chan. Meet the royal family, strike a pose with David Beckham and get up close to historical figures like Gandhi and, bizarrely, Hitler. Lamma Island. Attractions. Lamma Island. Looking for a chill day trip of Hong Kong Island? Lamma is the answer. There's no other location in Hong Kong where you'll discover such a blend of traditional Chinese fishing village life alongside a multicultural, multinational community. Lamma is known for its bohemian vibes and being a popular haunt for both expats and tourists. The outlying island is a straightforward 30 to 45-minute ferry ride from either Aberdeen or Central Sea. The iconic three-prong power station. From a distance, it almost spoils the view from Power Station Beach, but not quite. The restaurants on Lamma offer some of the freshest seafood in Hong Kong and are generally reasonably priced to boot. If you're feeling active, you can rent a bike and cycle around to enjoy the gorgeous views of the surrounding waters. Noah's Ark. Hong Kong. Things to do. Islands District. If you find yourself walking underneath Sing Ma Bridge, you might be surprised to discover what is, by all accounts, the world's first full-size replica of Noah's Ark. It's a Christian theme park. Yep, you read that correctly, and first opened in 2009. It boasts 67 pairs of life-sized animal sculptures, a 4D cinema, an 8-meter giant swing and, if you want to hang around longer than a day, hotel accommodation on the topmost floor of the Ark itself. The park is a fun family activity and an educational experience to boot. Stanley Bay, Stanley Market. There are countless bargains, plus some pretty outlandish souvenirs, to be found at this lovely seaside market. If you're hungry afterwards, head to one of the numerous waterfront restaurants to be found here, like Boathouse or the high-end cuisine on offer at Stanley Plaza. Make a detour to Colonial Murray House while you're there, a popular photo op for Hongkongers. Tai Mo Shan. Things to do. Chun Wan. Literally meaning Big Hat Mountain, Tai Mo Shan stands 957 meters tall, the highest peak in Hong Kong. While the city has no shortage of great hiking trails, varying in difficulties and length, Tai Mo Shan is definitely one of the tougher hikes to tackle, but it's worth all the trouble. Make your way up the grassy slopes to reach the summit, where the lookout provides stunning panoramic views of the northern and western New Territories, and sometimes even neighboring Shenzhen on a really clear day. The view up there during Sunrise is also incomparable. You're bound to pass a waterfall on your way up, including the famous 35 meters tall Ing Tung Chai waterfalls. It can get pretty cold up the mountain, so come prepared if you decide to tackle Tai Mo Shan. The Big Buddha Lantau Island. Things to do. Tung Chung. There is much to see and do on Hong Kong's largest island. It's filled with famous attractions, historic buildings and popular theme parks. Lantau Island is home to Tan Buddha, the nearby village of Ngong Ping, the historic fishing village in Tai O, as well as Hong Kong Disneyland. Assorted day trips will take you around the island, with options that come with tickets to the Big Buddha cable car and boat rides in Tai O. The ruins of St. Paul's, Macau Heritage Feature, Macau. Another SAR, Special Administration Region, just over 60 kilometers west of Hong Kong, Macau is more than worth a day trip away. Filled with everything from UNESCO heritage sites to luxe casinos, Macau is a haven for both tourists Hong Kongers who want a convenient holiday. Aside from historic monuments and five-star hotels, Macau is home to many mega clubs like Pacha and Cubic, as well as excellent coffee shops scattered through the cobbled streets. Shenzhen City Center. Just on the other side of Hong Kong's border with mainland China, Shenzhen was historically an inconsequential little town until it became China's first special economic zone in 1979. Now, having developed in economic parallel with Hong Kong, it was a population of over 10 million, and is a booming Asian metropolis. If you do plan to take a day trip here, make sure you check out areas like the OCAT Art Neighborhood. Guangzhou City Center. Before its Qing government handed control of Hong Kong to the British, Guangzhou, formerly Canton, was China's main trading hub. Based further up the Pearl River, the completion of the Guangzhou-Shenzhen-Hong Kong Express Rail link in summer 2018 should make journeying to the city a highly appealing prospect for tourists in Hong Kong. The journey is expected to come in at less than an hour. Big Bus Hong Kong Island Bus Tours. Bus tours, they're a great way to absorb a city's assorted sights, but without too much hassle. You don't need to pace around on foot or haggle with a taxi driver, and there's actually plenty of bus tours to choose from in Hong Kong. Some last 5 hours, some last half a day, some include visits to Lantau Island and Tai O, some are completely private and personalizable. If you're pushed for time and want to do things to your particular beat, we suggest the Big Bus Hong Kong Hop On Hop Off tour. But's plenty to choose from. Click on the link, and take your pick. Dim Sum Hong Kong Food Tour. Not for nothing is Hong Kong widely known as Asia's food paradise. It's home to many fantastic Cantonese restaurants, as well as cuisines from across the globe. And you, if fancy getting stuck in, join a food walking tour. If you fancy a jaunt through Central Shengwan, a 4-hour food tour will give you the opportunity to tuck into famous local dishes including wontons, roast meat and egg tarts at assorted spots in these neighborhoods. Another food tour to try out is the Small Group Island Food Tour, and join fellow foodies as you make stops at 5 famous eateries chowing down dim sum and local milk tea. Informative and delicious. Helicopter Sightseeing Tour. Sightseeing from an airborne vehicle, now that's a really unique experience. You can depart from either the Peninsula Hong Kong in Tsim Sha Tsui, or the Wan Chai Heliport, next to the convention center, and then take to the skies for a mile-high view of Hong Kong. Hong Kong Victoria Harbour Cruise Tour. An evening cruise around Hong Kong's world-famous harbor is a chance to really appreciate its iconic skyline. As night falls, and the city's lights twinkle on, a magical atmosphere unfolds. There's plenty of different cruises to choose from: a straightforward harbor cruise, a dinner cruise, a sunset cruise with dinner options at the Jumbo Floating Restaurant, Victoria Peak and Lei Yu Moon Seafood Village, a cruise to catch the Symphony of Lights, an afternoon sightseeing tour with dinner cruise, as well as a New Year's Eve fireworks dinner cruise. Don't say you're not spoilt for choice. Hong Kong Shore Excursion. Change it up from a bus tour and explore Hong Kong Island by ferry and sampan. The Hong Kong Star Ferry has been in operation more than a century and is still the fastest and cheapest way to travel between Tsim Sha Tsui and HK Island. Not to mention brilliant views of the iconic skyline. Join Hong Kong Shore Excursion for a unique full-day city sightseeing tour and explore town on a mix of ferry, sampan and tram with stops in Aberdeen Fishing Village, Stanley and Mong Kok Ladies Market. Hong Kong International Airport. Built on the man-made island of Chek Lap Kok, Hong Kong International Airport opened in 1998 after the closure of the city's previous international airport, Kai Tak, in Kowloon, and has become one of the busiest airports in the world. Over 100 airlines operate flights from the airport, which go out to over 180 cities across the world. Mega love shout out to Team iBags, Lovely Sisters Team, Mega's Team, Neilden Team, Chikahan Ni Manding Team, YTC Team, Grow as One. I would like to thanks to all my super chatters of Mayong Vlogs channel Glaza Magalanes, Lovely Sisters, Grace Holder, It's Me Dia, Osangable Vlog, Amethyst Blue, Mr. Ma Min Show, Bobby_37 TV, Chona Masongsong, Winna Laddock 2, Golden Lucas 7, Hovenex, Marvin Tamana, Manding Celia Bikulanang OFW, and the last but not least our founder in Team iBags Mayor QVid Vlogs. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy it. Please like, subscribe and click the notification bell button for more updates. Maraming Salamat.